Okay, welcome to Chapter 6 review. We're going to go ahead and get started on this. So, number one, a point on the perpendicular bisector is the same distance out to each blank of the segment. So, a point on the perpendicular bisector, in this case, point B, is the same distance out to each end point of the segment. Okay, so end point of the segment. All right, same thing with this point B. And endpoints are A and C. All right. Same thing with D. If this is on a perpendicular bisector, then point D is also equidistant. So we know that on this first example here, point B is on the perpendicular bisector, and so is point D. So that means these two are the same. Okay, so AD must be 20. And then we have some algebra to do here. We see that D is equidistant to the endpoints, and that means that this has to be a bisector here. And in order for it to be a bisector, these two have to be equal, and that's the whole point. You can't say it's a perpendicular bisector because technically the line D could go this way, but it's saying what does X have to be for these two to be equal. So let's go ahead and do those. So we have a negative X plus 25 equals 3 times 2X minus 8. All right, so let me move this over into the middle of the screen here. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So negative X plus 25 equals distribution 6X minus 24. And we just solve. I'm going to put all my X's together and try to make them positive. So 25 equals 7X minus 24. Add 24, and we get 49 equals 7x, and when we divide by 7, x is 7. Now notice it wants AB, it doesn't want to know x. AB is the negative x plus 25, so we say negative x plus 25, so negative 7 plus 25 is 18. That would be A to B. Okay, so let's go to the next problem. A point on the angle bisector, angle bisector, is the same distance out to each ray of the angle. So this is a ray and that's a ray. To each ray of the angle. All right? Or each side of the angle. All right, so that means these two are the same, and QP, or PQ, must be 14. All right, and then the same thing as the one above. In order for this to be an angle bisector, the two expressions have to be equal. So we have 2x plus 3 equals 5x minus 24. All right, so I'm going to move the 2x to the right just to keep my x's positive. You can't always keep them positive. Okay, now we'll add 24. And that's 27 equals 3x. Divide off the 3. So this is just algebra that everybody should know. So that's x. We don't want to know x. We want to know the angle UTV. So we want to know this angle right here, which is 2x plus 3. So 2 times x plus 3. So 18 plus 3 is 21 degrees. All right, so now we go to 6.4. Mid-segments are blank as long as the third side. So like the mid-segment AB here is half of the other side, the third side of the triangle. All right, so mid-segments are 1/2 as long as the third side of the triangle and blank to the third side. Oh, parallel. So parallel. So they're parallel and half the length. So now we're going to do our problem here. And this is AB is a midsegment. QS is 16. So that's 16, this whole length here. All right, so AB must be half that, 8. CB is a midsegment. CB is 2 inches. So this is 2 inches. It's parallel to QR. It is half of what QR is. So QR must be 4. So that's 2 and that's 2. So the whole thing must be 4. AC is a midsegment. AC is parallel to, so here's AC. Let's use a different color here. AC is parallel to RS. All right, great. Let's put the next worksheet in here. I'll move this up and out of the way. Just rewind if you want to see that again. Okay, so 6.5, let's read this real quickly here. The smallest angle is always across from the smallest side. Okay, the biggest angle is always across from the biggest side. List the angles of the triangle. So again, let's make sure we get this right here. Angles, we want the angles. So we can use one letter for the angles here because they're not attached to anything. From least to greatest. So in this top one here, L, M, and N, 16 is the smallest side. It is a cross and is made by this angle, angle N. So N is the smallest. Then we have 18, which is made by angle L. And then 30 is the biggest. It is made by angle M. All right, the next one, ABC, lists the sides of the triangle in order from least to greatest. Okay, so they only gave us 3 angles, but this is the triangle sum theorem. So the triangle sum theorem says that they all have to add up to 180. So you take 180 minus 87, so that's going to be 93, okay? And then minus the 21, which would be 72. So this is 72 degrees here. Now that we have that, we can list it from least to greatest. The sides, we want the sides. So you need 2 points for a side. 21 is the smallest angle. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. 21 is the smallest angle. It makes up side AB. Okay. And then 72 is next. That angle makes up side AC. And then 87 is the biggest, and it makes up side BC. All right, next one. In order to make a triangle, the smallest 2 sides must add up to more than the third side. So they even tell you what to say. This is ridiculous. So is it possible to construct a triangle with side lengths 13, 37, and 23? So you have to find the 2 smallest sides, 13 and 23. Not 13 and 37, the 2 smallest sides. So 13 plus 23 is 36. Is that bigger than 37? No. So it's not possible. That's what you say on your test. Okay, not possible. All right, how about 9, 16, and 3? So again, 9 and 3. 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 is not bigger than 16, so this is not possible. It can't be equal, it has to be bigger. Okay. If 2 of the sides of a triangle are known to be 5 and 7, what are the possibilities for the third side? So to get the possible third side, remember we, let's start with, we subtract first, and then we add. Subtraction gives us a smaller number. So 5 minus 7 is negative 2, but it doesn't, none of it's negative. So just take the difference. 7 minus 5 is 2. Put an X and less than symbols in. Add the 2 together. 5 plus 7 is 12. So your possible third side has to be between 2 and 12, not equal to. Okay, now fill in the blank with greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, so we have 110. We're dealing with DF here. 110 is smaller than 115, so DF must be less than AC. All right, go to the next problem. So let's take a look. 95 is smaller than 110, so that means ED, which is over here, is smaller than the 110 BC, so BC must be bigger than DE. So you got to think about what it's saying. BC is first, so it's across from the bigger angle, so it's bigger. All right, so that's all of that. Let's go on to the next one. Let's move this out of the way. Last page. Okay, 6.1. Write the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So again, they start with midpoint. So let's just go ahead and do it the way they say. Midpoint is x plus x over 2 and y plus y over 2. You have to remember that. So what is our midpoint? negative 4 plus 6. Make sure you're using your x's. Divide by 2. And then we use our y's. 5 plus a negative 3. What do we get? We get 2 over 2 and 2 over 2, which is 1, 1. That's our midpoint. Now, find the slope equation and then perpendicular slope. All right, so the slope of these points would be y minus y and x minus x. So what do we have here? Take the y. I'm going to do that y minus that y. Negative 3 minus 5. And now x's. That x minus that x. 6 minus a negative 4. So we have negative 8. Do change. That's 10. Negative 8 over 10 is divided by 2. We reduce. We get negative 4 over 5. So the perpendicular slope now is positive 5/4. And that's the slope we want. So plug it into the linear equation. Y equals 5/4 x plus b. And where do we get x and y? Our midpoint. So 1 equals 5/4 times 1 plus b. So 1 equals 5/4 plus b. Now we subtract the 5/4 over. So 1 minus 5/4 is going to be equal to b. So 1 is the same thing. We've got to match the denominators. 4 over 4. Okay? 4 minus 5 is negative 1/4. That's our b. So what's our final equation? It is y equals 5/4 x minus 1/4. That's what you would put for your answer. All right, let's go down and do the next one. Same way. Okay, let's blow it up a little bit more. We'll just use this space because I know what we're doing here. Midpoint is x plus x over 2 and y plus y over 2. What do we get? 8 over 2 and 4 over 2. And that answer is 4, 2. That's our midpoint. All right, the next thing we're going to do is find our slope between these 2 points. So y, I'm going to do negative 1 minus 5 over x, 7 minus 1. We get negative 6 over 6 or negative 1. Then we find the perpendicular slope, which is positive 1. Okay, so now we have the slope we want, and we have the x and y that's on our line. So y equals 1x plus b. Plug our x and our y in. 2 equals 1 times x plus b. 2 equals 4 plus b. Subtract 4. Negative 2 equals b. So our final equation is y equals 1x, or just x, minus 2. And that would be your answer. Okay, so that's the end of your review. So congratulations, you're done. Hopefully you did really well, and your work should look just like that on your test tomorrow. And you're definitely taking your test tomorrow.